In this video, we're going to see Texas Democratic Rep. Collier stand her ground during a tense, manipulative power play by the GOP. Let's watch the full clip, and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end.
I wonder how you are feeling. You were running this race. You have now handed the baton to California. What's going through your mind as you watch those remarks?
I'm so elated and grateful for the state of California, the legislature, for stepping up to the challenge. You know, we are seeing the demise of our democracy day by day, and Trump has he's trying to burn America down. And so it's so refreshing to see California rise to the challenge, to meet them where they are, which is in the dirt. And I can't tell you how grateful I am for my constituents and for those in Texas.
Representative Collier, I have to express my personal gratitude for your example, because I know it was not hard to be threatened the way you were, to be dictated to by a rogue legislative leadership, and yet you stood the ground to make the case that what was happening in your state was not just ill-advised and bad politics, but it's something that should rankle every American. What exactly happened yesterday when you had all these pieces coming together at one time, from you're being told you'd be committing a felony if you went to the restroom, to actually having that moment where not only did they cast that vote, but they scurried out of that chamber like mice who, you know, when the lights come on. Talk us through a little bit of that and what you were thinking and feeling over the last few days as this moment was, as you were confronting this moment.
Yeah, thank you so much for recognizing that. You know, their intimidation and fear tactics have gone off the rails. With their quest for power knows no bounds. So what we found, they did a call of the House to make sure that they would not lose quorum, but they did something that exceeded the authority of the rules. So instead of saying that the Department of Public Safety would bring us to the Capitol, what they said is that you had to be released into the custody of the Department of Public Safety, which is our law enforcement. See, their base has been saying, arrest them, arrest them. So they found a clever way to do that by duping Democrats into signing away their rights for freedom and agreeing to be released into the custody of DPS so that they can go home. And so what I notice is that I have not done anything wrong. I've not committed any crime. So I'm not going to be complicit with your overreach and control over me and my freedom. So I just said no. And I think that we have to get into that mode of resisting when we see our government going down the wrong path. And I think that this resonates with Democrats, Republicans, and independents, because we all value our liberty and our freedom. And when we see government entrenching on it, we got to say no more. And so that's where we were yesterday. They tried to intimidate me and say that you could be committing a felony by recording myself in a small corner. But I was the chair of the Criminal Jurisprudence Committee of the House, and I know the law, and I know I wasn't breaking it. But again, it was just some way to try to put fear in me, but I'm not going to back down.
Assemblyman Zabar, you are in California. It's a totally different state, very different personalities. From what I understand, the polling says that Democrats ultimately, 70% of Democrats don't agree with partisan redistricting. But in a case like this, about 68% for the polling I saw really want Democrats to fight back against this craven power grab. Talk us through what it's like there, what you're hearing from your constituents, what it's like on the ground.
You know, people want us to fight in California. They see what's happening in our streets with troops taking over our streets. They see masked people coming and disappearing people. They see the Trump administration trying to punish our universities with $1 billion being withheld from the University of California. They know that 23 million people are going to be losing their health care. The reproductive choice is at stake, that our environment is at stake, and they know that they want us to fight. I mean, they've had enough of this. And so, today was an act of patriotism in our body. Democrats were united behind our governor, behind Speaker Rivas, behind our leadership, and we had almost a unanimous vote in both of our bodies. And it's because people are ready to fight. We know that our democracy is at stake. I don't want to look in my kids' eyes in 2 years or 4 years or 10 years and basically explain to them why we didn't protect our democracy, why we didn't fight as hard as we possibly could to make sure that we leave to them the benefits of democracy and what this country has given to generations of people.
I got to tell you, I've got an 8-year-old, and trying to put this in terms that an 8-year-old would understand has proven very challenging. It is wild to know that she will one day study this in history class, if we still have history in the United States at that point, Assemblyman. I do want to ask you, though, sir, I mean, you are on a tight timeline here, right? You have a very short window of time where Democrats are going to have to educate voters on this. They're going to have to persuade voters on this. And it's not enough to just win here by a small margin. Given the stakes, you really want this to feel like an overwhelming show of support. How do you do that in the time that you have?
Well, I mean, as you said, it's not going to be a cakewalk. But we know we've done careful polling, and we know that Californians understand that if they're voting about whether or not this is about Trump and his failed policies and allowing that to continue and allowing him to steal the election that's coming up, that voters of California will approve this. I'm confident that's the case. The polling shows that that's the case. But we do have to educate people quickly, and we're ready to do that. The governor's ready to do that. Our members of Congress are ready to do that. Our speaker, every member of the Assembly and the Senate, we're ready to make that case to the California public.
This whole thing is it's a masterclass in authoritarian cosplay, isn't it? I mean, the absolute cynicism you need to have to weaponize law enforcement like that, just for show, it's staggering. Forget the pretense of rules or procedures. This is political theater, plain and simple. It's a performance for their base who are screaming for arrests. And the language they use released into the custody of is so deliberately weaselly. They're trying so hard to make it sound legitimate, to blur that line between a political disagreement and an actual crime. It's a transparently manipulative tactic designed to do one thing: humiliate your opponent. To make dissent look criminal, honestly, it's just pathetic. It's a sign of immense weakness. When you can't win on the merits of your ideas, when you can't even handle a proper debate, you resort to threats and you hide behind police. It's the political equivalent of flipping the board game over because you're losing, but our simple refusal, just that quiet no, completely short circuits their entire plan. That's the thing about these authoritarian stunts, right? They rely on compliance. They rely on the other side being intimidated, and the moment someone refuses to play along, the whole facade just kind of crumbles. And then when that doesn't work, they escalate. Of course they do. They go from this weird quasi-legal threat to just making up a felony on the spot. I mean, you have to laugh at the sheer desperation of it. It's such a transparently desperate move to try and instill fear because their first attempt at control failed so spectacularly. The incompetence is what really gets me. They tried to pull this on the one person who was the chair of the Criminal Jurisprudence Committee. It's so unbelievably stupid. It's like trying to tell a master chef they're boiling water wrong. The thuggery on display is only matched by its profound incompetence. It's genuinely embarrassing for them. This was a public cell phone of epic proportions. They brought a plastic knife to a gunfight with a legal expert, and she just calmly pointed out that it was, a toy. She didn't even have to raise her voice. Because this is what their entire political project has become. Their entire political project has become a raw, relentless quest for power at any cost, completely abandoning the act of governing. The tactics are always the same: fear, intimidation, inventing crimes, whatever it takes. They don't believe they can win in a fair fight anymore. That's the truth of it. All of this, all these games and threats, it's an admission that they can't win through legitimate means. So they have to rig the game, bully the players, and threaten the referee. It's a direct assault on the entire system. And what Representative Collier did, what she represents in that moment, it's the antidote. She's the embodiment of the very thing they're terrified of. Someone who isn't scared, who knows her rights, and who, most importantly, will not back down. She proves that these bullies only have the power you consent to give them. Their whole structure is built on fear and intimidation. And it seems so big and scary until someone has the courage to stand up and just say no. That one simple act of defiance causes the whole rotten structure to wobble. It's a powerful, powerful lesson. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. While you're down there, hit the like button and subscribe. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.